Hey, welcome back to the shop and the table saw only chess set build. Today we are going to build the king. So the king is only one setup really with the table saw, and this same cut is made at two different distances. So I'm going to try and zoom in here. I know when I tried to zoom in on this on the bishop, I didn't get the focal length right, but I've got my focal length set right here at the center of my blade. Table saw is not currently plugged in, so I don't have any problems playing up near the blade here. So the focal length should be set right on this guy. So let's see if we can zoom in here and get this tight. So the key aspect of cutting this and making this look like a crown is the little points right here on the corners. So you've got a flat on the flat face, and you've got a point right there on where the corners of the octagon are, right? So we're just cutting this with a 45 and just barely nicking this. So if I turn this piece over here in this angle, you should be able to see that there's a 45 cut up this way and a 45 cut down this way right along this edge. And the same back over here. So when we make the cut here on the outside face, we're just going to do that 8 times at the same distance, and then we're going to move it in, and it's kind of an arbitrary amount. It just needs to be the same all the way around, okay? So I have a more sophisticated jig that goes in my table saw that lets me set. It's got a nice stop block and it's aluminum and all those kinds of things. You don't need it, because all I need to do here is set a fixed distance, and I can do that by just clamping a block to my fence, just a little clamp, and anything, as long as it's pretty flat and it's got a nice consistent depth, because you don't want to put this all the way up behind the blade. I only want this to be right near where the cut's going to be made, like this, and then when I hold the piece here on the gauge, I always get the same depth. So I lock my fence down, it's always in the same distance. I come up here and I run up against it. I've already got the blade measured to be set at 45, so I'm just going to lower it down. Creaky, my old table saw. And the thing that I want to make here on this cut is I just want, and it may take me a little bit to get this distance set correctly, and I'm not going to do it on my walnut piece. I'm going to just grab a piece of scrap and look at how that 45 nick is being done. But you can kind of, I'm sighting down the table and I'm seeing how much of a gap there is in there between the bottom edge of the blade and the bottom and the top of the table. So that should actually be about right. Now, of course, in my case, I have an existing piece, right? So I can look at how that's going to cut in there in the existing cut, and it actually needs to come down a little bit more. I have one of the blades set right kind of at this particular tooth is set kind of right at top dead center. And again, this is that alternating top angle bevel grind on the table saw blade, which is pretty typical, right? So I'm looking at the one that's angled in the right direction to make that cut along that bottom face. So this should actually be pretty accurate, and that also would let me set my fence. Should be about here, and I can try that and look at it. No, that's actually a little too far. Set it up again, try that. Maybe just a little bit more. All right, let's try that with a piece of scrap. Obviously, I don't want to try it with a piece of walnut to start with. I just need anything that's got a square edge. So I'm just going to reach back here in my scrap pile. Let's see, what have I got? Oh look, poplar. So that piece of poplar should allow me, I need to cut that off straight. I'm going to do that over on my radial arm, cut that off nice and, that corner off nice and straight. And then we'll try this. All right, so I finally got this this cut square. I double checked that my miter fence here was exactly 90 degrees to my table saw blade. It wasn't. I had to fix it. It's a couple of degrees off. I got to fix that zero indicator here. And that should be good to go. Let's try a test cut. Not quite deep enough. All right. See if you can see this, the angle that's right down here and right here on this top corner. And so what I need to do, I think, I raised the blade just a hair, but then I also am going to need to move the fence over just a littlest bit. All right. I need to go square that edge off and then try it again. Wait till that stops. All right, so I think that's pretty good. In this poplar, that little corner chipped out, but I think in the walnut it'll be okay. All right, let's try a cut on the. Let's try the cut on the walnut, and you know, if it doesn't work right, I can just take a little bit off this face, and then we can make some adjustments and then run another pass here. But I think it's gonna be good. All right, that's got it. So I got these nice little points here on the top corners. Exactly what we wanted. It also cuts the outside edge down just a hair and leaves this top surface slightly proud of this edge here, which came out really good. All right, so then I just need to move this over. Let's see, that's probably about 1/4 of an inch. Let's see, where do we think that is? Actually, it's a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to look at my gauge on my fence, and I'm going to go over a 1/2 inch and run it again. All right, that gave us those nice little points that we wanted in here for that crown detail. And now it's all just down to sanding. I left the piece long. I do have to cut it the length, but I can do that over on my radial arm. I'm going to leave this 45 set up for the queen in the next video in the series. Okay, so that's all there is to the crown on the king. I'm going to zoom in here and maybe give you a slightly better look at that. And make sure I'm right on my focal point this time, which I wasn't yesterday, or last week. So you get these nice little point details up here and down here. So the one thing is that you can see where that top bevel, alternating top bevel grind on the table saw has left a little bit of a ridge in there. I will need to clean that up, but because this is a flat face, I should be able to do that with a file. Just get in there and a couple of strokes should clean that right up, and still leave me with the points on the corners that I want. So we're going to leave that 45 set up on the table for the queen. Here, let's pull out. I did this one in walnut because I have more walnut of that octagon than I have. This is all I have left of the bird's eye, and so I wanted to make sure I had enough to do the queen in the bird's eye. So here's our queen piece, and see, she's got exactly the same crown detail as the king. Kind of nice to have them have the same crowns, but then she's got the scalloped waist. He's got this bigger crown detail, the double crown cut on the top. So that was my design for doing that. So thanks for following along. Do that like and subscribe thing. I really appreciate everybody following along. This has gotten some nice views. Prior to this, some of the woodworking that's I'd done a couple of years ago was, 35, 40 views, and these are gotten in the 150 range. So I really appreciate that. It's nice to see some interest showing up and things building a little bit. So go out and shop, cut some wood, cut some metal, cut some plastic, make some sawdust. Have a good time, make something. Time to start thinking about Christmas presents. Today's November the 13th. If anybody's got suggestions for Christmas presents, I have 3 adult children and a 4th one. A friend of theirs is currently living with us, so I have a house of 6 adults at the moment, and need to think up some Christmas presents for people. If you got any good suggestions for Christmas presents in the wood shop, let me know. Appreciate the comments. All right, thanks a lot.